Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of the GRF Show podcast. Today's another special episode with a special guest. I have Dennis with me as always. You want to say hi, Dennis?
Hi everyone.
Yeah, as almost always. I think you were absent last time, right?
Yeah, I missed last time, but now I'm back.
Good. And our special guest today is Antti. I don't know much about him, and we'll get to know him in the show. I know that he's from Estonia. He's very fast when it comes to driving in Dirt Rally 2. And I know that he does some rally related motorsports, and we'll find out all about that on our little journey together. So, Antti, let's start with you. Say hi and tell us a little bit about yourself, anything that you're willing to share, and then we'll just get to know what you're all about.
Hey, yeah. Nice to meet you. I haven't had a discussion like this with you before, so
That's
nice to
right,
meet you,
and
Joe
you
and
too.
Dennis as well. Uh,
Hi.
about about myself. Uh, I'm 31 years old. I'm at the age where I don't remember my age anymore. I'll be 32 later this month, but I'm from Estonia. Some people from here who have seen my stream say that I have a similar accent to Ott Tänak. It might be because we are from the same
Yes,
country.
definitely.
Yeah, and nowadays I work at one bigger corporation in Estonia, and by my occupation I'm a quality manager. So I'm
Oh,
I'm
okay,
quite into some details that
right.
applies to dirt rally as well, probably setups and everything. So,
Oh, very cool. Okay. So quality manager, you say?
yeah, quality manager is my occupation.
Okay, okay. And so does that mean that you have to basically make sure things are of sufficient quality before they go on to the next stage or something?
Well, yeah, I lead the quality department who is responsible for making all the quality checks and process quality checks and so on. We are I'm working in a plywood manufacturing plant. So
Ah, okay, okay, very good. So, well, what I wanted to say was that there's a lot of fast Dirt Rally 2 drivers from Estonia, like you, Speed Sensei, Nevada, just to name a few. So, a lot of our listeners, or at least some of them, won't know much about Estonia and your country. Um, is there a strong rally tradition in Estonia? And Dennis is probably going to kill me for even asking such a question. But just for those who
I know
don't
the
know.
answer. So yeah, I listen to Auntie.
yeah, I would say that there is quite a strong rally tradition in Estonia. Uh, from the outside, it probably starts with Marko Märtin, but uh, as an Estonian, like we have had really good rally drivers even from the like 70s and 80s. So
Okay.
rally has been quite popular in Estonia for a long time, and I think it really boomed when Marko Märtin was doing his thing in the WRC early 2000s, and
Okay.
after that,
In the Ford Focus.
yes, Ford Focus was probably his golden age, so that what he's remembered by. It didn't end very well, as most rally fans probably know that it didn't end very well in a Peugeot 307. So
Yeah, with the accident.
yeah, the co-driver was unfortunately killed in an accident.
Oh boy.
But
Wow.
But yeah, then I think the rally tradition has, especially in the last, I don't know, 5 years, it has really boomed again because of Ott Tänak. And Ott Tänak was a world champion just a couple of years ago, and so even dirt rally scene probably got lots of new players coming in.
Interesting. Okay, that's very cool. So yeah, we used to think of the Finns and the Swedes and as strong nations as well, producing great drivers, and Estonia is um, up there as well, I guess. I grew up in the UK and during the Cold War mostly, and we didn't really know much about Estonia at all back then. And it's great to see you guys going so fast. I know Wookie, whom we had last week, is always going on about these super fast Estonians and how great they are as as a kind of a collective. Dennis, anything you want to ask about more about Estonia and rally tradition?
Uh, yeah, I think what I think as an outsider is I think they have a really good culture of mentoring their drivers. I think Marco Martin was a mentor of Oyt Tanak, and I think Oyt Tanak now is mentoring some Rally 2 driver who is also from Estonia, but I don't remember his name. So it seems that the rally drivers there are really close to each other, which I think is really cool. And I'm a huge Titanic fan.
So that's
I
yeah,
think
Yeah,
that's
and
he's one of my favorite non-sport drivers.
so Dennis, you got a bit distorted there. Antti, could you hear him
Oh,
clearly? Or
the end kind of distorted a little bit, but
okay,
we actually have a world champion this year in rallying. So if you don't know, in junior WRC, Robert Virves actually won the world title.
yeah.
Just
okay,
Oh, I thought he's from Latvia.
no,
Didn't know
he's
he's
actually
Estonian.
from even the same
Yeah.
island than Ott Tänak.
Ah,
He's from Saaremaa.
yeah. Okay.
okay, right. So let's maybe move on. Antti, how did you get into Dirt Rally 2 then?
Actually, it's a quite interesting story, maybe.
Yeah,
That I would say Dirt Rally, because Dirt Rally 2 just came as a
sure.
evolution basically
Yeah.
later on. But I think it was maybe 5 years ago or something like that, when me and the group that we are rallying, like the real rallies,
Okay.
and my brother and my father and a couple of friends, we kind of thought that okay, there was a little bit more quiet time, like there was not too many rallies upcoming, and thought that okay, let's put some money together and let's make a rally simulator.
Okay.
Uh, and we bought the stuff, we put it together. Actually, because the VR system had just been like becoming a little bit more popular.
Hmm.
We had this OG Oculus Rift
Oh
CV1,
yes, that's what I have still.
uh, which was at the time was quite decent VR headset. And the main focus was actually not to do virtual rallying, but it helped with real rallying, like to get
Hmm.
before the competitions to get more in the rallying mindset.
Okay.
Because if you drive for I don't know, for 2 or 3 weeks with a regular car in regular traffic, then on one weekend you want to go rallying, then the first few stages it's quite hard to get into the right mindset. You want to show the indicators and press the clutch each time you brake, and so
Right.
on. That it's it was basically a tool to improve real rallying performance.
Okay, and this is with the Dirt Rally 1 then the original Dirt
Uh,
Rally that you
yeah,
started.
original Dirt Rally 1.0. Like,
Right, which I don't think it had virtual reality right from the start in 2015, but they did
uh,
introduce it.
yeah, I don't exactly know when it got it, but when we bought the simulator, it already had it,
Yeah.
and we had heard of it, and we wanted to try it. So it was
Okay.
something. And the original Dirt Rally had also the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 10, so it was quite good to practice with that because I also drive a Evo 10 in actual rallies.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So, well, I guess the obvious question was it useful with the virtual reality to help you?
Uh, I know that like it's a really good question because lots of rally drivers probably say that it's actually no use. And I was even looking at this Skoda e-challenge a couple of days ago, and there a rally driver said that oh, the virtual rally doesn't have any use for real rallying.
Right.
But in my opinion, it helped. It's not that it was exactly one to one, but
Hmm.
there are some techniques that you can kind of develop with virtual rallying, and also this mindset thing that you learn to focus a little bit more. You learn to focus on listening to the co-driver and getting into the rallying mindset. So yeah, I think it helped.
Okay. Yeah, I think Dennis Solidus said pretty much the same thing, right? That some things are kind of one for one and some things are not, but he learned a lot of techniques and practiced them. I think that's what he said, right?
Oh, was that a question for me?
Yeah, yeah. I was just saying that Solidus was saying the same kind of thing, right? That
Oh,
um,
Solidus. Oh,
yes,
okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He said basically exactly the same thing. Helps for real life racing.
right, yeah. So I think there was some distortion there, but you pretty much basically
Uh,
said that he said the same kind of thing that it had some benefits and some of it was limited.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Very good. So yeah, tell us about your real rallying. I've seen some of your videos online, Antti. It's very, very cool. Some of them have co-drivers and I'm guessing it's a brother or a father because I think you have the same last name. And also some of your videos don't have a co-driver. So just tell us all the different things that you participate in.
Uh, yeah, actually, when I go a little bit further in when I started
Yeah,
with it,
tell us the
I
whole
think
story.
uh, I think I actually started. It was probably 15 years ago, something like that.
Wow, so you were 16.
I feel old now, but yeah, I think I was 16 when I finally got talked my father into buying a car for the winter,
Hmm.
just for ice tracks. So like in Estonia we have quite good winters, so we have this. We are driving a lot on frozen lakes.
Hmm.
There are competitions on the lakes and on the ice. So uh, finally got my father to buy a car for that. We actually bought it was an Audi coupe.
Oh wow.
It was a 2.3 liter straight 5, 125 kilowatts or something like that, and four-wheel drive
Oh yeah.
car. So we used that for just for fun on having on some ice tracks, and we also did a couple of competitions as well, but not too serious. And what we learned from that one winter was that okay, Audi does not make good racing cars in the sense that the balance is quite bad. There's lots of weight in the front, and it's quite hard to be competitive in four-wheel drive class with the Audi. So
Okay, and was this a completely stock
uh,
car or was it modified or did you guys modify it?
it was quite stock.
Hmm.
The, it was a decent car. It had decent power and four-wheel drive, and it was a fun car. It's
Hmm.
Audi Coupe is a small car as well, so it's quite fun. But yeah, there was quite a lot of understeer, so it it didn't really got it. So as we already then got like this motorsport bug a little bit, then for
Right.
next year we were looking for a little bit better car,
Hmm.
uh, and we stumbled upon a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 3, uh, which was it was converted to left-hand drive and
Okay.
200 kilowatts,
Wow.
280 horsepower then,
Hmm.
and four-wheel drive and really light car as well. It was really shiny red car. I can later send you a picture of that. You can add it to the video version.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
And we wanted to use that for ice tracks and so on. But it happened to be so that then we had a really bad winter. We didn't get any snow basically.
Okay.
So the car was just sitting in a garage basically. And when the spring came, we thought that okay, we have a cool car we want to drive, but the winter was really really crappy. So we found some other races, first on tarmac, some races to do, and uh, yeah, then we kind of got into the amateur rallying scene in Estonia. That we have these amateur rallies that uh, we are racing street legal cars. They
Okay.
must be street legal with all the MOT and everything done,
Hmm.
and no roll cages or anything, but you have helmets and stuff like that. And the courses are prepared so that they are not too fast. Uh, and I was actually, as I was not 18 at that time, I was 17 then, if you had Mitsubishi. And I was actually the co-driver for my father
Ah, okay.
at first.
I see.
And yeah, so it kind of went from that. I think for the first 2 years, I was I was a co-driver, and when we had we have this separate kind of events that sprint events where you don't need a co-driver, and there we shared the car so that I was driving and my father was driving as well, and sometimes my brother as well, and uh, it just happened so that after I had been a co-driver for I think 2 years, then at the start of one season, uh, we just thought that okay, let's switch places for one rally and see what happens. And it was a winter rally, and I actually knew that I have quite decent speed, and okay, I was young and I was wild as well. I
Hmm.
was 18, so the first rally that I was being a driver in, I actually was I think I was in second place, uh, two stages before the end. It had like 10 stages, and I actually crashed on second to last stage. Not
Oh,
crashed, but
yeah.
got stuck in a snowbank, and
Okay.
we dug out for 42 minutes, and I didn't finish in a good place, but at least I showed some speed, and
42
uh,
minutes. Wow. That's really unrealistic because we know it only takes 30 seconds in Dirt Rally 2.
I was thinking the same.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. In real life, you have to use a shovel, and there were no spectators in that specific spot, so
That's
it
bad
happened to
because,
be so that we had to
right.
dig for 40 minutes. So.
I mean, you're lucky you didn't hit someone because that would be another 4 second penalty. That's so
Yeah.
cool. So, how old is a typical person when they learn to drive in Estonia, and what's the legal age of actually driving on the street?
Uh, Legal age is 18,
Okay.
uh, as this, but there is also some possibilities that you could make a license where like a parent has to be sitting on
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
passenger seat and guiding
Right.
or something at the age of 16, I think,
Right. I think it's
like
similar in
a
Britain.
guided license.
Right. It's called a provisional license there, where you have to have somebody in the car with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
So you
But
were
I got my license when I was 18.
okay. So, but you were already doing rallies, at least as a co-driver, and you're already fast by the time you're 18. That's incredible.
Yeah, fast is a relative term, I think.
Sure.
But but yeah, I was doing some competitions that like on ice tracks you don't have to have a license,
Yeah.
at least in some competitions that I could participate in and really uh, get the feel of it.
Right.
But one more interesting story is that okay, I got my driver's license when I turned 18. On the same day I got my license, and I had my first like official competition in amateur rally sprint. It was then, and at that time we had a yellow Evo 7,
Hmm.
and yeah, it was a week from my birthday, and we went to this competition, and it was a tarmac sprint in a city. There was some side curves as well. I think you know where this story goes
I,
when I
I,
mentioned the side curves.
yeah, yeah. I had an idea, but carry on.
So yeah, my first official start, and uh, in a quite powerful car, and we had this car also had the anti-lag setup and everything. It was awesome, and I think it was the second corner, and I went in a little bit too hot,
Mhm.
and I with my right rear tire, I hit the curb quite hard, so the wheel was bent, and also like this rear axle was bent. So
Wow.
my start to official rallying was not the best. I broke the car, and we couldn't finish the sprint event even. So
So this is a sprint. That means that there's no co-driver.
yeah, sprint event is like no go driver there, and it's just I don't know, a 3 kilometer course or something like
Right.
that that you can walk through before and then go and race. But we had also rally slick tires, and the tires were quite cold, and I really didn't take that into account. And
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
kind of broke the car.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can say my father was not happy.
I was going to ask you, was he going to drive it as well later on in the event, or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Okay. And so basically, do you have special insurance that helps you pay for this kind of thing, or did you just have to eat the cost of that?
Yeah, no insurance for that.
Okay.
You have to pay for that fun.
Oh boy.
And an Evo 7 is not really a cheap car.
Yeah, definitely not.
Mm.
Rallying is a really expensive hobby, I could say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Uh,
Wow. So
I could actually send a picture of the car into the chat. Uh,
Yeah, I'd
Oh
like
yeah,
to see
cool.
everything,
Did
man. As long
did
as we can share it and or
yeah
let me know that I'd love to see these pictures and videos and have them for everyone to see if that's good, cool with you.
did you
yeah, yeah.
did you have any sponsors? Not even small ones, or are you doing that all by yourself with your dad?
Uh, yeah, I would say that my dad was basically the
Yeah.
sponsor. We have like a family business, so what
Oh, okay.
helped pay for those things a little bit.
Hmm.
Okay, so um, I think you also mentioned that in some of the rallies with the stock cars, they make sure that you can't go too fast because there's no roll bar or roll cage rather. I think I saw that, that I was going to ask you in one of the rallies where there was a co-driver, there were chicanes every few hundred meters, and it was quite frustrating, oh, there's a chicane coming. Is that what they do to try to make sure you don't build up too much speed?
Yeah, yeah, that's basically what this amateur rallying is all about. That they try to keep the average speed down so
Hmm.
that you don't get into too much trouble, and that way, yeah, it is possible to drive there and that it is just basically a street legal car without any roll cage and anything. So
Right. I mean,
uh,
that's a
yeah.
great way to make it relatively safer, but also still very much fun for the driver and co-driver, I think.
Yeah, there are mm, lots of different events like that, and some rallies are a little bit faster, where you can actually build up some speed on the gravel roads as well. But most of the time, they try to bring the speed down with these chicanes and everything. So.
Okay. And with the sprint rally, you said that you can walk through it before. Does that mean like drive through it slowly, or yeah, literally you just
In In sprint events, it's like you can actually walk through it or use a bicycle or something
okay?
to see the course. But in this amateur rallies, where we have a co-driver as well,
Yeah.
is this interesting part that we don't do any rec at all.
Okay.
Uh, we are only uh, given the bass notes, and
Ah.
then we go onto the stages blind. So we don't know the stages at all before. It is
And
not allowed
wow.
to do any recce.
Okay, so no recce, and you basically get somebody else's pace notes.
Yes, yes.
Incredible. Very, very cool. So when I was watching one of the
That's
sprint,
what they.
sorry, go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, I think that's what they did in WRC in the 70s. They were just exchanging road books.
Mm, okay. So yeah, that's really
Yeah.
golden age
Old school
stuff.
approach.
Yeah, old
Yeah.
school. Yeah, cool. So yeah, Antti, I was watching one of your sprint videos, I think, and to me it didn't seem completely clear where the track was going to be going, but obviously the driver, I think you knew exactly where to go. Is it marked and I just didn't see it in the video, or did you have to kind of know from your walkthrough which way to go sometimes?
Uh, Usually it's quite well marked as well, but
Okay.
often you have to rely on your memory as well. That what you see from the walkthrough, and usually in sprint events you get free tries. So
Ah,
it's
okay.
good to have a GoPro or something filming so that after you've done your first run, you can see it from the video. So
Oh yeah.
it helps quite a lot.
Okay. Yeah, so that's really very interesting. As I said, I'd love to get some of those videos on there for the video version, and we'll do that. When you mentioned that you were 17, 18, starting doing this, a couple of questions come to mind. When you were co-driver, you know, did that Did you ever get motion sickness? Read, helping out while driving at high speeds or relatively high speeds?
No, I'm not really too sensitive in that aspect. Like even with this virtual reality, like
Yep.
it doesn't affect me like that. I know lots of people who get motion sickness from virtual reality as well, but for me it's not a problem.
Oh, that's very good. Very lucky. I have when I'm driving just on the street, sometimes my wife and kid get can get motion sickness, and then they're not able to look down at all. And when I see some of these drivers just calmly reading the pace notes at high speeds and lots of deceleration, acceleration, and turns, it's quite impressive. So the other thing I was going to mention is that we're talking about how young you were when you did this. When Oliver Solberg started driving in the ARA, the American Rally Association, he did a season with Subaru. Um, his co-driver had to drive between the stages because he was not legally old enough to drive yet and didn't have a license. So they could do the rally because it was, a special stage and closed off. But when they were driving from one stage to another, the co-driver had to drive the car, which I thought was quite funny.
Yeah, it's actually in Estonia, like in amateur rallies as well. We have this junior classes
Hmm.
where you could be as young as I think 13 or 12 was the
Wow.
age limit or something like that, where you could do the rallies. But there as well, the young kid can only drive on the stages, and after the stage, the co-driver must drive on the road section.
Okay, so you can't
So
have a
it
13-year
is
old
possible to
co-driver.
do that, but uh, for them they have some special car limits as well that it can be only up to 1.6 liter one wheel drive car or two wheel drive car.
Oh, okay. Right. Dennis, how old were you when you learned to drive?
Pardon me, didn't
How
understand you.
how old were you when you learned to drive?
I was 18, 18 years old. It's also you 18 in Switzerland. You get a provisional license, and then you can learn to drive with somebody sitting next to you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, in Britain, at least when I was there, when I was living there before I moved to Canada, you could get a provisional license when you're 16, and you can pass your test when you're 17 and be legal,
Mm,
to drive on your own.
uh,
I waited until I finished university, and I passed my test, I think, when I was 22. And then I went to go live in Germany and didn't drive for many, well, probably a year before I started driving properly again. And then I left right-hand drive a few years later and came to Canada and started all over again. So yeah, okay,
Just as maybe sidetrack,
yeah.
just I said how old I am, but how old are you?
Oh yeah. So I think between Dennis and me and you, we are over 120 altogether. um, I'm going to be 54 next month.
Ah,
So
okay.
and I turned 42 last Saturday.
yeah.
Okay, then I'm young.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you
Yeah.
are.
I think I got VR maybe 2 years ago when I was 52, and suddenly, I got much faster in Dirt Rally 2, and I always had very good reactions from playing volleyball, most of my life competitively, and being quite athletic for many years. And so it's been okay, but sometimes I think, wow, I'm old and I'm still having fun doing this. I don't know for how much longer I can keep it up, but yeah, it's fun. So
that's nice that uh, you still like to play video games at this age.
yeah, and I do it every day as it was as Void Robot mentioned today. I think that out of the 155 dailies we've had, I've done 152 of them in GRF.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and you know what? And I remember when I missed one, and because I said, "Oh yeah, if I don't feel like doing the combination, I won't." And so I thought I'd missed a lot more than that. I missed one, and then I had to go away for a couple of days. I missed that too. So yeah, no, I really enjoy doing it. It's my way to kind of just relax after my wife and kid have gone to sleep. And I and now what I've started to do is work out afterwards after my driving, even if it's 2 a.m. I'll do some weights and or something, and that's been a good way to counteract sitting in a driving seat for 3 hours at a time sometimes. So, um, yeah, more back to you, Antti. You're one of the fastest drivers we have in the GRF club now, in Dirt Rally 2. So I know that you really like Sweden, but what are in general your favorite locations and type of cars, and why?
Uh, yeah, I think Sweden is is probably my favorite. But
Okay.
actually, when I started, I think for the first 50 or I don't know 60 hours or maybe even 100 hours of this game, I actually only played Sweden with Evo 10, uh,
Wow.
and it was just as a practice before I was doing the actual races,
Hmm.
and uh, and I actually got quite good at a couple of stages because I didn't vary the stages too much either. So I actually started driving different rallies and stages only when I we had this Estonian like official Estonian league that
Right.
was esports league that was organized by uh, our autosport union basically.
Hmm.
Then I started to try other stages as well and other cars. But yeah, Sweden is clearly my favorite. I'm the quickest there as well. Like it is where I'm the fastest.
Yep.
Uh, Not the fastest in the world, but it is my fastest location.
Right. Yeah. It's your yeah
And
best.
I think other than that, I like Finland as a Estonian. It's like you have to like Finland rally as well.
Yeah.
And then Wales actually is quite good location for me as well. But
Okay.
it's interesting that I don't have too many hours in the game. So some just a couple of months ago, basically, uh, was when I was driving almost for the first time in maybe Australia and New Zealand because I haven't driven them at all.
Right. Yeah, so Australia and New Zealand, I remember you saying that you didn't have much experience and didn't like them that much, or at least Australia.
Yeah, yeah. I think I don't really enjoy them that much. For some reason, they don't really suit my style or whatever. And then I haven't driven so much on them as well. So if I would practice more on them, I would probably get up to speed quite quickly because
Yeah, don't worry
gravel is
about it.
still gravel, but I don't really enjoy the stages that much.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say don't worry about practicing there. It's okay. You got to give some of the other people a chance somewhere. Yeah, I mean, you're still pretty fast there as well. So what kind of cars do you like? I mean, you mentioned the Evo, and I know that you generally prefer, well, prefer is a weak word, I think. You are much happier in an all-wheel drive car than one of the front or rear-wheel drive cars, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think I've said in the Discord chat as well that like four-wheel drive car is the only way of rallying, basically. Or so, in quite strong words, I created
You
some
yeah.
controversy
No, I
in
mean
the chat.
you said that rally has been all-wheel drive for 40 years or something like that, and you're right, absolutely right. Yeah,
Yeah, so I really enjoy all-wheel drive cars, and
right.
I think I've driven most uh, with the R5s. Uh,
Hmm.
I know that lots of people say that they are a boring class and so on, but I actually quite enjoy R5s.
Yep.
But also this 2000cc up to 2000cc and Group A cars are quite fun as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree completely with the 2000cc and Group A. I really love them. The R5s, I think I used to have more fun until the Fiesta Mark II came along. It is the fastest, but I don't always understand the best way to tune it. I do well in Scotland with it, but in other places, many other places, I'm not so good at it. But Group A and 2000cc I like a lot. And I don't know if you know Salty Inferno. He's a Canadian
Yeah,
driver.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. He's I think very much like you. He likes those three classes. He says, just everyone else calls them boring, but I like to be able to know where they're gonna go and be able to. They're so predictable that it allows you to be the fastest you can be. Don't fight the car.
yeah. But it's the competition is really tough in them. So like to get on a I don't know top 50 in a time trial leaderboard with the R5 is really something else than the other classes.
Yeah, especially if you do a stage that was in Dirt Rally as well. Like if you do a location in the original six locations, it's impossible. Like Germany, Sweden, Greece, Wales, um, Monte Carlo as well, and I can't remember the other one there, but there's those six together. Oh, Finland, right? All of those together, especially with R5, it's like you said, it's very hard. You can be 1 second faster and be 300 spots on the leaderboard.
Yeah, yeah. That is really really tight competition there.
Yeah, there have been times when I'm like 550th and I think, oh my God, I'm really bad. And then you look and the top 100 time is only 3 seconds faster or something. And every tenth of a second will get you a lot of places. Competition, as you say, is very, very tough there. Yeah. So, do you not like the rear wheel drive cars at all, or do you just grudgingly participate in some of those competitions?
Uh, Actually, if I go back in history a little bit again,
Yep.
I'm a rear wheel drive kind of guy. Like uh, I own a BMW as well, and I like BMWs. Uh, and overall rear wheel drive cars were where I learned to drive
Okay.
when I was younger. Also on like some ice tracks as well. Uh, Rear wheel drive was the first kind of car I was driving. But I don't know, for some reason, if I want to rally and I want to go really fast, I prefer all-wheel drive because there is so much more control.
Hmm.
That in actual rallying as well, that you can, I enjoy the feeling that I can control every wheel that I have on the car.
Right.
I can control them with the throttle, with the brakes, with the steering wheel. I have many inputs to all the wheels. But with two-wheel drive cars, you don't get that because you cannot control everything.
Yeah, I think definitely agree with you. I started off with in the game, at least I started off with all-wheel drive cars, and I drive a Subaru myself in real life. But Started off with all-wheel drive cars, and I loved them. And anything else, the front-wheel drive was okay, but it was just a bit boring and slow originally. And rear-wheel drive cars, were um, just frustrating because it felt like I was fighting the car all the time, or it didn't do what I expected it to do. But when I started to get better, I think I enjoy them the most now because I do relatively better in those compared to other people, I think, now. But part of the reward, I'm convinced that part of the thing that makes them enjoyable is the sensation that you've managed to conquer something that isn't easy. I think that just makes it even more enjoyable, whether or not the car actually feels great or not. You just feel good that you managed to do something that you were not good at to start with.
Yeah, I kind of can relate to that because when we had this JRC World Cup,
Yep.
uh, not the latest one, but one of the previous editions, where one of the classes was Rally GT, and it was Rally GT in
Mm-hmm.
Finland.
Oh yes.
And I had basically no experience with rear-wheel drive in this game,
Yeah.
and especially with this RGT class.
Oh my God.
And
Yes.
when I was with quite little practice, I was able to finish this Finland rally without having a big crash. It was quite a good feeling that I had accomplished something. It doesn't matter that I lost, I don't know, 5 minutes to Wookie or something like that.
What car did you use? Did you use the BMW?
Actually, no, I think I used Aston Martin
Oh
for some
yes.
reason.
Right. So I think I just love the Porsche, and I do reasonably well in it, but I found that in Finland, um, the BMW was more my thing because it took the bumps a bit better. But the Aston is also something that people like, and Salty, I think he uses um, maybe Salty or maybe Pookie. He's used the Mustang in Finland because he says that it handles the bumps the best.
I think it might have been the case that the BMW was maybe banned or something,
Ah,
but
yes, okay.
I don't remember
Right, right,
exactly.
right. Yeah. Dennis, do you I know you don't like the rear wheel drive in the game that much.
No, not really. I'm more of a Group A 2000 and R5 guy. I like it's I mean rear wheel drive it's okay for me in the game. It's just not my favorite class, but most of the time when I start rally and rear wheel drive, I think, oh, that's really not my thing. But by the end of it, I mostly having really a lot of fun. Just should drive them more than I actually do.
Right, right, but we know seat
But
time is not easy for everyone.
yeah, yeah. Uh, but I think Rally GT. I think I've only since I played the game only drove the class once. I think, and there was a BMW in Germany, and I hated it. Hated every minute of it.
Okay, well, I think there might be a special event coming up eventually with this class of car. So,
Yeah,
and
that's okay. That this will make me drive it.
yes, it'll make you drive it. Yeah,
Mm,
that's what I like about the dailies, right? So the dailies, you don't get a choice really. Every day it's something else. And
yeah.
what I started to do was recently, I've joined Weepy's Swedish server and also the Dirty Discord server for the dailies. But the GRF one is the only one that I do every day, and the others now I just decide whether I like the combination or not, and I'll just do it. So, but it's great that it forces you to do stuff that you didn't really, you wouldn't choose to do
Yeah.
necessarily. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And of course, I stream those. And Antti, I know that since you joined GRF, your stream has become very popular, or at least one of the most viewed by other GRF members. And I know Dennis is a fan, and I've tuned in several times as well. How did you get into the whole streaming thing?
Well, I think almost all of my answers now start with that there is an interesting story to
That's great.
that.
They're great stories.
uh, Actually, it kind of roots back to I think it was JRC season 10.
Mhm.
I hadn't done any streaming at all, and I didn't do any streaming then as well. But I was yeah as I was trying to stir up some controversy in the GRC Discord before there was a Sweden rally coming up, and I was challenging Mike D that okay, let's make a bet that I will beat you in Sweden
Okay.
in GRC. I was in GRC 2 at the time, but and he was in GRC 1,
Uh-huh.
but it was a season where GRC 1 and 2 had the same car.
I see.
It was a R5, and we made a bet that who will beat the other guy. Then the who loses has to use this livery of a car. The
Oh,
winner
okay.
can make a livery for the loser, basically.
That's good.
Uh, and I was thinking that okay, uh, I know Mike D is. I don't know if you know Mike D, but he's also a quite popular streamer, at least in JRC. He hasn't streamed in some time, but he's a really fun guy,
Okay.
and I really like his stream. Uh, and I was actually able to beat him by I think 1.5 seconds in the end.
Wow. Okay.
Like it really went down to the last stage, and I had my JRC teammate create a livery for him, which was a really fun livery. I can add some pictures of that into the chat as well.
Yes, definitely.
And I was then thinking that okay, what if I had lost? Like I don't stream, but I told Mike D that okay, if I lose, I will start streaming and I will use the livery that you create for me. But at that time I didn't lose, so
Yes, I
but
see.
it kind of planted a seed in my head that okay, I would like to start streaming, and I think I did my first streams in June or something, like in May or June this year.
Oh,
And
this year. Okay.
since then, I have kind of or like I really enjoy streaming, and I really hope that my channel gets a little bit more popular so that I would have more viewers and I could have a good chat with the viewers because I really enjoy communicating with other guys during the stream as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. I see you like John Armstrong's stream used to be like that as well. You know, he'll take off the headset and read the comments and respond to them and all of that, and that's very cool. I'd love to talk to you about your setup and maybe try to emulate some of the kind of thing that you have as well. Unfortunately, I think most of the views that I get are the next day because I'm doing it in the middle of the night in Europe, and most of the people are in Europe. But yeah, it's really cool to watch your stream when you get to interact with the people watching.
Yeah, I think what I have seen, at least from my notifications or this stream notifications, that you are really accurate on your schedule. You are doing it every day at the same time in the morning, my time at least. It's like I don't know 6:45 or something like that. My time is when your stream starts.
Really? Okay. Wow, that's that's interesting. Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I when I'm with my friend Fish Snacks or Jesse, who's you'll see him in the GRF server, GHOTI. SNAX. Uh, he's on a tighter schedule, and he can only stream. He can only play like twice a week, and so then we do it much earlier. It's like 9:45, which would be like 4:45 a.m. your time. But when I'm on my
Yeah,
own the other days, then yeah, then it's more likely to be around 6 a.m. to 6:45 when I start, which is almost midnight for me. So, you know, yeah, I try. Yeah, it's fun.
yeah, I have actually got some of your streams, like maybe a little bit of a tail end of that, because I
Right.
get to work at like 8 o'clock and sometimes you still stream at that time. Sometimes I open the stream.
Okay, cool.
Don't
Yeah,
tell my boss.
yes, yes, same here, by the way. I usually get to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's often the time when Joe just starts streaming. So I open it up and lurk around a bit.
Yeah. Well, I started streaming just as a way to um, record my runs without having to use hard drive space. Right, that was why it's so kind of not very
Uh,
interactive. I'm just doing it, and then I just find the highlights and publish those separately on YouTube. So my stream is relatively very boring because it's just me practicing, trying to get a tuning set up. Because really, I think I've just got the time, and I'm not that talented. I just practice a lot, and that I worry, or I say, gosh, if you've been watching, you guys are brave because it's just so boring, when you do 100 time trials and you only finish five of them. And then say, hey, look, I got the third best time ever, and everyone thinks you're really good, but no, you just did it 100 times until you got lucky. So, yeah. Um, so I guess we've talked a lot about the stuff that you've done in real life, Auntie, and it's I can't even say how impressed I am, and um, how much respect I have for people who do this in real life as well. I know it's a very different experience, and you can't go at the same kind of speeds as you can in the game, but it's still um, you're doing something that's very fun, very dangerous as well, potentially, and very expensive too. So yeah, hats off to you. We originally wanted to talk a little bit about tuning setups and that kind of thing, but I'm thinking that maybe we should just leave that to maybe another episode that we can record soon, and but maybe just get some of your ideas on how you like to tune. For example, I think when we had Ian on last time, Typecast Wookie, we discussed his tuning preferences, and I think you and I both disagree, or at least some of his approach doesn't work for us as well as it does for him. So, do you have any kind of like generalizations that um, that you can share with us about tuning and perhaps the technique that you drive?
Yeah, there are a couple of things that uh, I have actually said quite many times in my stream and maybe in the Discord chat as well, that I use kind of a eyeball tune. That usually means that it is something that I do with most of the cars. That if I can take a car which I have never driven in the game, and I just go into the setup, just push some levers in the direction that I usually do, and it usually works quite well. And that usually means that for the suspension, I like softer suspension. So
Hmm.
at least the slow rebound and slow bump are usually a little bit in the minus in the game,
Okay.
and then the fast bump, depending on the nature of the stages, it is usually a little bit on the plus side, and for Finland and stuff like that, it must be +5 in most cases.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting.
and then for the differentials, I'm usually using uh, quite locked differentials. but a little bit depending on the car as well. That uh, my actual rally car is set up quite similarly. That the diff locks are quite tight, so there is quite a bit of preload as well. So
Okay.
uh, that I can actually feel each wheel uh, turning at any point, and I can control them at any point, so that I don't have the problem that there is not enough diff lock. And that is in the game as well. I use quite locked diffs. Uh, to get
For
better turning, I sometimes open up the center diffs a little bit, and maybe the front diff as well. But the rear diff is usually quite locked.
right, and so
And I think for the last highlight is probably the camber and toe. I had a discussion with Dennis, other Dennis, the Swedish guy,
Swedish
about
tennis,
the
yes.
Sweden setup today in the Discord about the camber angles as well. And there I'm lately trying to experiment more with less camber so that I have more frontline grip, and
Yep.
it requires a little bit of different driving style, that I have to turn the car a little bit more before the corner so that I can get the straight exits out of the corner. And for the toe, I usually go in the front. I go minus 20, and in the back usually plus 40 or something like that, depending on the car.
Oh right, yes, that yeah, I do something like that as well, except for rear wheel drive cars where I have to do toe in at the front to make them more stable depending on how powerful they are. So, um, can we just talk about differentials briefly? Um, you were saying that you like them fairly locked, and how? What about when it comes to the braking lock and the preload? How do you do that compared to the driving lock?
Uh, the preload depends a little bit on when I drive the car, do I feel it too understeer?
Hmm.
Then I usually uh, lower the preload a little bit, and the braking lock as well. If I'm having trouble turning in during braking zones, then I soften the braking lock a little bit. But in most cases, it can be almost fully locked. At least in Sweden, it's you could put all the levers to the right side, and it's usually good.
Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, I'll try some of that stuff. Um, so, and generally, you said you like a softer slow bump and rebound as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that kind of I don't like when the car feels like a go-kart. I don't like a rally car that feels like a go-kart. I have tried some setups for Finland, for
Hmm.
example, where the suspension has been turned so stiff that uh, okay, it can be really fast because you get more grip, and for time trial setups it might work, but it doesn't feel like an actual rally car if
Right.
it is so stiff.
Okay. And actually, I wanted to ask you, do you do much tuning of your real rally car at all, or is it basically you've just got one set up and that's it? You use that all the time now.
Uh, it's for the differentials. It is something that has been set up, and I don't. It is not that easy to change them.
Of
So
course, yeah, unless you have a whole team of
on
people.
yeah, on that side, I don't change much. But for suspension, there is definitely some setting up
Okay. And do you guys
at the
do that
moment.
yourself, or do you have a garage that you go to that they do that, or do you have a whole rally team now?
No, it's we have uh, for for rallying, suspension is like the most critical part if you want
Sure.
to do it a little bit more competitively.
Yeah.
Because the roads, at least in Estonia, the roads even in amateur rallies, they got quite rutted and they can be quite rough at times. So suspension is something that actually can save the car quite a lot, so that you don't break the car in in those road conditions. And that means you need to have good suspension. We have had in the CO10 that we have a Rieger suspension, which is the same brand of suspension that is used in, for example, the M Sport Rally team,
Okay.
and in the past in the some other companies as well, I believe.
M Sport, that like as
And
in the.
it is really easy to set up. Like it's just three places with different clicks, and you have different setups, and
Oh,
also the height is adjustable with
quite
some
easily.
keys.
Fantastic. So M Sport, as in the company from Poland, is it that developed the rally, the Mark II Fiesta? Those guys?
Uh, Uh, I don't know at the moment, but the World Rally Team, the WRC car
Oh yes.
actually at
Okay.
some point used Rieger suspension as well.
Right. Right.
Rieger Rieger suspension, I think it's from Netherlands, the
Okay.
company originally.
Cool. All right. Um, Dennis, do you want to add anything to this discussion?
Uh, no, only that the M Sport Rally 1 car is built in the UK by M Sport, and all the other Rally 2, 3, 4 cars, they're built in Poland.
Ah,
I
okay.
think that's what you were referring to, M Sport
Yes.
Poland.
Yes, that's right. So, but the
Uh,
Fiesta, the Rally One
uh,
is made in sorry, the Rally One is made in England.
Davnby Hall.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, in the UK, yeah, in Davnby Holland, everything else is made by M Sport Poland
Okay.
in Poland.
Auntie, did you know that Dennis is a walking motorsport encyclopedia?
Oh no, I'm not. I'm not. I'm just a bit of a nerd.
Yeah. Okay. Auntie, last question I think I have for you is: do you ever use like pre-made tunings, like Rally Technical, for example?
Yeah, actually I do quite a lot because uh, as you may have noticed, I don't have too much time to practice. So making a setup can be really time consuming when especially when you do it from scratch.
Right.
And then I often use take, if I have to drive a new car that I have never driven before, I usually take the rally technical setup, and then I will do maybe a couple of shakedowns and see how it feels and make my signature adjustments mostly.
Right. Right. Okay. And actually, so the reverse of the question I asked before, I guess, is does your real rally experience help you go faster in Dirt Rally too?
Definitely. Uh, I think that is something that I can use quite a lot. Uh, like instead of practicing that much, I could get up to decent speed really quickly,
Yep.
thanks to the experience that I have from railroad rallying. But to get this final speed in the game, you need to take the game specifics as well. There, the real world experience doesn't help that much.
Right. Of course. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, you said it now. So now I can always use this as an excuse whenever you beat me. I'll say, yeah, I have to practice because he's got real world experience, and that makes him faster. So, good. Dennis, anything else? I think we should probably wrap up this special episode soon. Dennis, are you still there? Oh, okay, I think we may have lost him. Antti, thank you so much for coming. This has been really exciting and fun for me, and I'd love to. Oh, he's there. Okay, Dennis just sent a message. I am here. Um, I'd really like to see more of the videos and photographs, and we'll put them all up. I think this episode we can just fill with you with your materials, and then I'll do a little bit of the Dirt Rally to uh, set up changes while we're talking, in the video, so that in real time people can see what kind of thing you're talking about. I'll move the sliders around. And thank you so much for your time, especially so late at night. I know it's past midnight for you, so I really appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. And I think I think I said in the Discord chat once as well that I I'm thinking at least, and I'm planning to make a different kind of stream once as well to focus maybe more on the real rallying part and maybe analyzing some of my own footage a little bit more and some maybe more interesting moments that I had in my experience as well. Some near crashes and
That would be awesome.
analyze that.
When you set that up, you definitely need to come back on the show and talk about it and take us through some of the footage and some parts of your stream, and we'll get you some more support hopefully for that. So, any shout outs you want to say hi to anyone? Shout out um, and get them to listen to the podcast too.
Yeah, I think I could shout out the Estonian community that we have. This Estonian Championship event. It actually we have this small community of some former amateur rally drivers and some people who have driven in real rallying as well. Some
Okay.
little bit even older guys than I am got together in one messenger chat and started racing. Uh, I was then when I joined that I was the fastest there. Now everybody is developing quite fast as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would shout out to Vahur, Lembit, and Mickey Donald. I think is in that chat as well. So he's
Ah. Okay.
always a fun guy to have a
Yes.
chat with. And of course, Speed Sensei, who is uh, at least in the Estonian Championship event, is my like arch nemesis at the moment.
Right.
But now at least I can say that I have beaten Speed Sensei. I beat him in the last Estonian Championship event that was in Sweden. So yeah, I have beaten Speed Sensei once now.
Cool. Very good. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Well, hopefully, we can link the podcast episode to him to see what he thinks about these things as well, and the other guys too. I'm going to do a shout out to Swedish Dennis, whom Weepy got me onto his server in Sweden. He said one day he wanted me to try and beat one of his buddies there in the Alpine rear wheel drive car in Australia, and he kind of sprung this as a surprise on them. So now I've joined this Swedish Discord, and I have to use Google Translate for everything. But he's joined. He's joined GRF as well, and it's great to have another fast guy to challenge everybody else at the top. So yeah, shout out to Swedish Dennis Hernerholt, I think his name is CAD Hernerholt or something like that. Um, and Dennis, if you're here, do you want to shout out to anyone before we say goodbye? Nope. Okay.
I would, if you're already shouting out some Swedish guys, then
Yes,
I would definitely shout out VP as well. Uh,
Weepy. Yes.
I have been having some nice competition with him in some of the Swedish stages.
Right. Right. Yeah, I've seen that. It's been really fun to see the one-upmanship going on there. You guys are really incredible there. So I just got a message from Dennis. His microphone doesn't seem to be working, and so I know that he's listening. He can hear us, so we'll have to finish this episode without him. If you want to say something, Dennis, you can type it and I'll read it out for you. But otherwise, I think it's time to wrap up. Again, thank you very much, Antti. We got shout outs to some of these the Estonians and Swedes this week, and we'll. Oh, I'd love to catch up with you later, maybe for a more in-depth chat with you. Um, and Dennis just says shout out to all the Estonian guys as well. So there you go.
Yeah,
Uh,
and thanks for having me. It's quite interesting experience for me as well. I've never been on a podcast before, so
Fantastic. You did a
first time for
great job.
everything.
Yeah, you did a great job. Really interesting stories. I'm so glad that you could share those with us. They're fascinating. I really enjoyed talking with you. Yeah. So and it's something I love to do. Actually, I love having this community exercise that we have with the podcast. I think we don't have a huge number of listeners, but we still those who listen, I think, really enjoy the podcast, and I enjoyed doing it with Dennis and all our guests. So, okay, with that, I'll say goodbye. Dennis says goodbye too, and we'll hear it from you, Antti.
Yeah, thanks everybody who is listening, and it was nice being here. Thanks.
Okay, that's the end of the episode.